Hey folks, welcome to another one of my videos. For those of you who haven't watched any of them before, my name's Brendan from Blue Light, and for the past 5 or 6 years I've been coaching and supporting people to pass the police recruitment process with a lot of success. Good 3,000 plus people are in the police now as a result of my support. I say support because they did the hard work, I just showed them the way. And for those of you who have seen my videos before, you're probably thinking, that's a nice location, where is he now? This is a location close to where we've relocated to in York. We're just in temporary accommodation before we take the final plunge into the house that we're buying in York. So we're moving from Cheshire to York. There's a prize for anyone who can work out where exactly we are. So there you go. Anyway, what this video is about today is your final interview. So for those of you who get past the assessment centre stage, or for some forces like Leicestershire, they do the interview before the assessment centre. Anyway, you're going to be faced with an interview, 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour long, where you're going to have probably an inspector, someone from HR, and maybe another police officer there who are going to interview you. They want to find out what your values are. So they don't want to hear a load of competency BS. They don't want to hear a load of cliches. These are operational police officers. They've got very short fuse in respect of people talking absolute BS nonsense with them. So one of the big questions my clients are often faced with at the very start of the interview, and sometimes they say this question is not being marked. Trust me, it is. They're making a judgment about you right from the very outset. So the first question that is often asked at some interviews is, why do you want to be a police officer? Or sometimes that is framed as, what's motivating you to want to be a police officer? So often when I do my one-to-one coaching, more detail about that below, shameless plug there, why not? Often when I'm doing my coaching, I find that my clients, first of all, will come up with, it's a job where I can really make a difference. I just want to be a part of the community and help people around me. I want to give something back to the community. It's a job where no 2 days are the same. It's a job where there's all sorts of opportunities for me to develop. It's a job where I really feel like I can make a mark and make a difference. Were you thinking of saying anything like that? If you were, do not say anything like that. These are just cliched bits of nonsense that just keep cropping up time and time and time again. If you're an operational police officer and inspector and you've spent the last decade or two fighting crime on the streets of wherever it might be and leading your team to do so, do you think you want to be disrespected by someone in front of you just giving you an absolute load of BS? I certainly didn't, and I've never met any of my colleagues before who've said something along the lines of, do you know, I had this really good interview earlier where I bumped into this person who seemed to be able to recite all sorts of phrases from the Competency Framework and came out with cliche after cliche after cliche, and do you know what? I gave him the job. It's something that I've never heard an interviewer in the police ever say, ever, and nor will I. What they normally say is, oh God, they seemed okay initially, but oh, what a load of shit they talked. Now, excuse the French, but really, that's what some people talk when they go to these interviews. The problem is, they've read all of those books which tell you to regurgitate all of this stuff, those sort of how to be a police officer type books. And I don't know who came up with all of that malarkey, but it certainly doesn't work. Didn't work on me, doesn't work on those who I know do the interviews. And certainly those people who've been to a final interview before and then get my coaching often go, that's where I went wrong. Because the feedback will say something like, excuse me, the answers weren't precise enough, weren't detailed enough, didn't demonstrate enough about their values and what was important to them. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to demonstrate all of those things? Well, the way to do it is a timeline. So we're going to start at the beginning. What initially inspired you or made you think, do you know, I think police might be the career for me? Because you didn't just wake up one morning and go, oh, I think I'll be a police officer. That just didn't happen. I've not met anyone who says, yeah, that happened. When they do say that, when I probe a bit deeper, I find out they've got an auntie in the police who inspired them when they were 5, or something happened to them that involved the police when they were 7 or 12 or 13, whatever it might be. There's always more to your story than you can remember. So the answer to this question is you telling a story. Now, I'll sometimes spend up to an hour coaching people to make sure they get this narrative about their life right. And sometimes they'll say, do I need to make notes? No, you don't. You don't need to make notes to take in with you, and nor would they want you to take notes in with you. By the way, never take notes into a police interview. Because this is your life, and the narrative about your life should be on the tip of your tongue. So we start off with the very beginning, and then we end with, and here I am sat in front of you today, ready to take this step. In between time, you're going to give examples of when you have given all of those cliches that I mentioned before without mentioning them. So I've coached quite a few people just recently who've been able to give some brilliant examples of what's inspired them, either their experience or an experience they've had with someone else that has inspired them to want to be a police officer. Or it might be that it suddenly twigged that how proud they were when they supported someone who was particularly vulnerable, and it gave them a really good feeling, a feeling like they need to do more of that, like it matters. So tell a story about you. Don't come up with all the cliches. So there you go, a few top tips from me there on how to get through this very first question at your final interview. I hope you found it useful. Please do, if you're watching this on Facebook, press that like button and ask any questions. If you'd like to join my secret Facebook group for police recruitment purposes, over 4,200 people on there now, please just leave a note in the comments box below. If you're watching this on YouTube, click that subscribe button. If you'd like to join the Facebook group, follow the link. I've had quite a few people say, can you add me to the Facebook group on YouTube? And they give their name as Jonathan Smith. Sorry, there's millions of you. You're going to have to go to my page, the Blue Light Consultancy Facebook page, and like it, and I will then send you an invite from there. So if you've got any ideas about my next videos to help you through this process, please do let me know. Otherwise, I shall catch up with you next time from wherever it might be, somewhere near York, signing off until next time. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.